Hey YouTube, this is Richard. This is my first YouTube video, so forgive me. I'm not that great at it, but um, like you, I'm a huge movie fan. If you're watching this, I hope you're a huge movie fan, and even better, a huge comic book fan. Um, with movies and with comics, with all superhero things, I love it. Um, and lately on YouTube, I've been just seeing a lot of videos about, hey, Marvel, the MCU, much better than DCEU. Um, and I'm gonna have to disagree with that. Not because I'm saying DCEU is much better. I'm saying for each person, it is different. I'm one of the few people you'll find that actually enjoys both the MCU and the DCEU. Not because they're the same, but because they are different. Um, and I feel like both have their own mistakes. Um, by the MCU, for those of you who don't quite realize what that means, MCU is from Iron Man, uh, the Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, the Avengers, um, Captain America 2, Thor 2, Iron Man 3, um, the Avengers 2, Ant Man, all these super big movies that are coming out that are based on the Avengers. The latest of these is Black Panther. So we got Spider-Man: Homecoming. I mean, not counting the X-Men because they are not part of the MCU or Fantastic Four, even though those are actually part of Marvel Comics. But as for now, they are not part of the MCU. Um, on the other hand, DC is a lot smaller currently. This is including Man of Steel, um, Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice, Suicide Squad, of Justice League, Wonder Woman, and there will be more movies to be added to that, such as Aquaman and other stuff like that. Um, and people are saying, "Hey, MCU really good, DCU, EU, not so good." Um, and that is personal opinion. Each movie is different on its own, and each movie is written to impress a certain type of audience. Marvel is going at this actiony, comedic type of show, and then DCEU comes in and they go straight into nitty gritty, kind of depressing types of movies. And that actually works for them. I personally absolutely love Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and Wonder Woman. Those are some of my favorite movies ever. And let's just turn back the time a little bit. DC, they are known for knit and grit. I mean, you go back to the 1989 to Batman the Motion Picture, and you get this first series of Batman movies. You got Batman the Motion Picture, you got Batman Returns, Batman and Robin, and Batman Forever. And people go back and look at those and like, hey, Batman the Motion Picture was a pretty good movie, pretty decent. Batman Returns, also pretty decent. And then they get to Batman and Robin and Batman Forever, and like, oh my goodness, those are horrible. Absolutely, absolutely horrible. And main reason for that is because Batman and Batman Returns are these very dark films. They're directed by Tim Burton, and they're dark and they fit Batman. And then you got Batman and Robin and Batman Forever, and they're off the walls, total full of jokes, bat nipples, and all that stuff. And people didn't like that. Fast forward a few years to the early 2000s, you get Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, The Dark Knight Rises. Again, very dark movies. Christopher Nolan's like, oh, hey, people didn't like Batman and Robin. People don't like Batman Forever. And those are campy. Sorry, have a little cold. And then but they did like Batman and Batman Returns. So why am I going to do this campy thing and not this dark thing? And people absolutely love that Dark Knight trilogy. Um, I hear people still can't stop talking about the Dark Knight and the Joker and that, and just how serious that movie was. And then fast forward for a few years, you get Man of Steel, very dark, and it's not the type of Man of Steel, it's that type of Superman movie we're used to. And people are like, yeah, I don't quite like that. And then Batman vs Superman, even darker. People didn't like that, and I know it's personal preference, and so I'm not going to hate you if you don't like that, but don't hate us that do like it. I'm not saying that campy, fun superhero movies aren't good. I absolutely loved the Avengers. It's one of my favorite movies. Um, in the Avengers, Marvel hasn't had as much success with their other big screen TV shows up until this Iron Man movie, the first Iron Man, and they started really kicking off with Avengers. And I'm just going to point out a little fun little fact. What actually got the MCU into its limelight, what actually got it going and just started it strong, weren't these happy-go-lucky movies and campy superhero shows that we see nowadays. Um, that we're seeing with their later installments like Thor Ragnarok or Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Um, they were pretty hardcore. Iron Man 1, I don't remember ever laughing through that entire movie. Or Iron Man 2. Well, Iron Man 2 a little bit. But Captain America or Thor, Iron Man, and the Incredible Hulk and the Iron Man, they weren't funny, but they were good. They got people to enjoy the movie. It sucked them in. Then came along Avengers, which is really what kicked it off. And Avengers, well, that was funny, but it wasn't too funny. It had an amazing story that sucked people in. Had the occasional good joke like, uh, "Ma'am, there's only one God, and he doesn't dress like that." Or Hulk punching Thor, who's his teammate. There were some pretty funny things in it, but it was not the main focus of the movie. And then you keep going, and you got Iron Man 3, still very dark. And you got some Thor 2, and Phase 2 was still pretty dark. It was a lot happier than the Phase 1, which is Iron Man to Avengers. And personally, one of my favorite movies is Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier, which is a super not dark movie, but it's a serious movie. I don't remember laughing during that entire movie, but it caught me and it brought me in. And these stories up until Avengers 2, and they were all so focused on the story. And that's what DC does. That's what DC does too. DC is focused on the story. I can't say I'm absolutely in agreement with Zack Snyder's directing skills in terms of Man of Steel, Justice League, and um, sorry, and Batman versus Superman. But he focuses a lot on the story, and the his focus is the story and how that's going to affect the people and what the people are seeing when they're watching this is what are they trying to convey and what's happening here, like why is Batman trying so hard, so very hard on trying to get rid of Superman? Why does he feel threatened? And that's the focus. Now, people are not so happy with that because it's not funny, and the reason why they're doing that is because they're judging the DCEU off the MCU's Phase 3, which is more different than the first two phases because then you get all these really, really funny movies. Starting with Ant-Man. Ant-Man was quite funny and it was comedic, but it also had a great story and it focused on that story and it did really good at focusing on that story. And then you have Doctor Strange, another quite funny, very enjoyable movie, and yet still had some serious tones to it. And then they start getting into Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and Thor Ragnarok. And don't get me wrong, I know some of you guys like those movies. I personally didn't like those two movies right there. And people were judging the DCEU off those two movies. And they're saying DC, very bad movies. They're like horrible because of that, they're not like these movies. I just want to say, please don't ever judge movies based on other movies unless it's a remake. Remakes, you can do that. I'm totally okay with that. But if you're gonna judge Batman off of Spider-Man, you're 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 not doing it. You're not doing it right. Movies are different. Each one is different. And the success of a movie is very dependent on the character itself that is made. A movie is meant to entertain and to tell a story. And the story is to generally get you thinking. And each story can be different. Each superhero movie can be different. Guardians of the Galaxy, pretty dang funny movie. Loved it. But I'm not gonna go expect to say, hey, James Gunn, you directed uh sorry. You directed Guardians of the Galaxy. Can you come direct Batman for me? I mean, we want that same comicalness with Batman. That's not gonna work because Batman is a totally different character and he's not funny. Each character has to be treated differently. And you can't compare movies. You can't compare. Um, I will have to agree though that DCEU is not as up to par as it could be because DCEU is so focused on trying to beat the Avengers, which is something they shouldn't be doing. Um, there have been mistakes on all sides. Um, so the DCEU working so hard and fast to get the Justice League out and not develop their characters out. While I would say probably a mistake on Marvel's side is when they heard that their next movie was going to be Batman versus Superman. Like, oh, okay, Captain America 3, let's change it completely. It's no longer about this and that. It is now Civil War. It's going to be Iron Man versus Captain America, and we're going to make them choose sides, just like Batman versus Superman. Now, I'm not saying that's what Marvel did. I'm just saying that's what it looks like from the outside. And there are mistakes. And I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna make more videos. I'm actually gonna like. I actually kind of like doing this. So I'm gonna make more videos. I'm gonna actually talk about individual movies from now on, and I'm gonna talk about movies I enjoy. I can't say I've seen every movie. I'm not that time. I don't have that much time on my hands. I'm a poor college student, so I'm just doing this for fun and when I have time. Um, but I will talk about movies. I'm probably just going to start off talking about Marvel and DC movies. But if you have a suggestion for me about a movie you want me to watch and talk about, go ahead. Let me know. If it's in theaters, I can't guarantee I'll see it because again, poor college student, don't have much money, trying to support myself and my wife. Um, but let me know. Just have one little exclusion. I do not watch rated R movies. I'm a Mormon kid, so I'm not. I don't believe that is appropriate. I don't watch. I don't watch things that have to do a lot with sex or things like that. But I do quite enjoy. I do enjoy movies. So you can say, hey, go watch Black Panther. Totally want to do that. don't have the money yet to do that, but I will go watch it sometime. Let you guys know my review on it. Um, thank you for watching. Anyway, but yeah, let me know what movies you want me to review. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna review movies that have already came out. Like I'm gonna go through and eventually uh, talk about all the MCU movies. I'm probably gonna watch each and every single one of them just before I make the review, and I'm gonna talk about them. I'm gonna talk about what I think, how I'm gonna rate the movies for myself. I'm gonna show everyone what my ratings are and how I rate things beforehand. I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna first go through and actually rate movies first before I do this. But please let me know. Let me know what movies you want me to rate and what you want me to talk about. Um, I mean, you can ask me right here, right now, what's my favorite superhero movie? Definitely going to tell you Batman vs Superman, the extended edition, not the theatrical edition, the extended edition. Again, I know that's rated R. Watched it when I wasn't actually following this rated R rule that I have. But um, yeah, let me know. Just don't say Deadpool. Don't say Logan. Don't ask me to watch 50 Shades of Grey. I'm not gonna watch them. I will ignore those comments, and if you keep posting, we'll probably delete them. But please let me know your comments. Let me know what movies you want me to watch. Let me know what you want, what insight you want. Um, and in terms of Marvel versus DC, which is better, you decide. That is up to you. You can say Marvel, you can say DC. I won't hate you. I say both, but for different reasons. Um, and so, yeah, come see me again. Let's talk more. I'll talk about what I think Disney's doing wrong with their movies nowadays. And we'll talk Star Wars. We'll talk Lord of the Rings. We'll talk Marvel, DC. We'll talk animated movies. We'll talk Incredibles 2. I don't care. Let's talk. So, thank you very much. And I'll see you guys next week.